Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening? To the Universal African Peoples Organization family, what's going on? And to New Life Evangelists in the family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our amazing cameraman, Bob. On that note, we're going to have a great show, and this show will be part one of a two-part series examining a very controversial lifestyle that has been promoted by a good colleague of mine, Brother Eonje Right.
Younge.
Eonje, okay. Who is the author of the book, The Sky is Changing, Reassembling the Traditional Black Family. And that's by Eonje.
Eonje.
Right. And then I'd like to turn to the backside of the book and the various commentaries that it have had on the book. And up at the top, it says, sure to be a bestseller. The sky is changing from Kemet to New York City. Let's get real. Then it has a quote, think like a man, act like a man. And then ancient keys to exponential, did I pronounce that right?
Correct.
Power.
Exponential power.
A piercing look at what the future could be. One of the best books on social change, enlightening and thought-provoking. And it's available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, iTunes. And then you see for more information about it, and we'll be getting that a little later. Before we begin, I start all my shows out. I'd like all my audience to know a little bit about the person who I'm interviewing. So if you would be so kind, share with the world who Eonje Right, something about yourself, okay?
Well, I grew up between East St. Louis and Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, you were in my hometown, East St. Louis. Okay, go ahead.
I learned a lot in East St. Louis, and I learned a lot in Minneapolis. So it was a dichotomy of experiences that I had. And I came to here. I spent a short time at McKendree College and ended up going into the military. Spent a year in Vietnam and got wounded and came back.
Well, during that period, I was ducking. I was like Muhammad Ali, no Viet Cong ever called me that N-word. Well, go ahead.
I didn't really, I thought I was going to get some money to go to college.
Oh, wow, yeah. I got it.
And I ended up in a war.
Wow.
But after
you got wounded?
Yeah, I did. I did get wounded. And then I came back. I went to school in northern Minnesota, Moorhead College, and I was kind of a rebel at the time. That was during the 60s.
Right.
And we were all rebelling. And
absolutely.
The northern Minnesota people couldn't handle rebellious black folks. And so I didn't quite finish there.
At the college itself?
I ended up going to business school.
Uh-huh.
And I got into accounting and taxes. And I operated a bookkeeping business for about 20 years here in the St. Louis area, basically.
Okay.
And then I moved to Atlanta, and I got into small business incubation down there. I did that for 25 years. And
you're currently residing in Atlanta, am I correct?
I reside in Atlanta now, right.
And you've been there for how long now?
I've been in Atlanta 32 or 33 years.
Oh, okay. Now, going back when you made mention East St. Louis, because that's my heart. I was raised in East St. Louis. But you are also a relative of an activist that I had the greatest respect for, and that was Miss Wavetta Young.
Yeah.
How long did you live in East St. Louis, and were you involved at all in the movement?
No, not really. I moved away from East St. Louis when I was 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
I moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota with my mother. Wavetta was my stepmother.
Oh, okay.
After I graduated from high school, I came back down here to East St. Louis because my father said he was going to put me through college.
Okay, all right.
So I moved back in with my father and Wavetta, and I lived with them for a period of time, but my father didn't pay my tuition.
Yeah, I knew your father.
Yeah. He didn't pay
yeah.
my tuition.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I decided to go in the Army and get my own money to go to school.
Right. I can recall those days right after high school trying to get a job, and I never forget, I worked at I can't think of the name of that restaurant, but they exploited me. I had to work 3 days without pay to see if I'm going to be a good worker.
I understand. I understand the philosophy of St. Louis.
Augustine Restaurant. Do you remember? Yeah, back in the day. But anyway, we'll take a quick break.
I hope you're enjoying the Zaki Baruti show. Now we need your help to get the word out about this community affair program and so many others. Now, how do you do that? Well, you tell folks to turn to 24.2 on their television set, and even family, friends, relatives that live outside of the area, well, get them to put the NLEC TV app on their phones and look it up on their computer. 24 hours of wholesome family programming. So much community programming that you're not getting on other stations right here on NLEC TV. So please spread the word. And while you're doing that, continue to get involved in the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center. So many opportunities awaiting you and your family at this particular time. New Life Evangelistic Center is on the front lines with first responders, directly helping homeless people day after day after day. Behind me are the new headquarters for the New Life Evangelistic Center, along with the studios for NLEC TV or 24.2. You may want to drop by and visit them sometime. This is where we record the Zaki Baruti program at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. New Life Evangelistic Center is offering homeless people so many opportunities to be set free from the cycle of homelessness, has a wide variety of safe houses, and so many women and children are staying there, and they're learning all different kinds of different skills, all kinds of skills here at 2428 Woodson Road. We also have the training centers in New Bloomfield, Missouri, Marshfield, Missouri, the largest daytime walk-in facility, southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas at 806 North Jefferson, in Springfield, Missouri, the worldwide work of the New Life Evangelistic Center in Kakata, India, and then in Lagos, Nigeria, and in Haiti, all over New Life Evangelistic Center trying to help people that are in need. New Life Evangelistic Center receives no city, state, or federal dollars, and we're only able to do this as a result of the prayers and involvement of caring people like you. So please pray for this work, and please partner with the New Life Evangelistic Center so we continue to keep the Zaki Baruti Show and the other community affair programs on the air. Remember, tell everyone you know about it, and go to the NLEC TV app.
When you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center, you impact so many people. The economy in this country is really hurting so many all over. And we're seeing the number of people who are experiencing homelessness rise. You can make a difference today by giving your gift online at newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. Make a real big change in the lives of so many.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is a author of a fascinating book that's many people would describe as controversial. And the book is The Sky is Changing, Reassembling the Traditional Black Family, and the author Eonje Right. And in the past section, we were just talking about your background, but in terms of the book, what motivated you to write a book, or this particular book, and what is the task in writing? I mean, somebody out here might want to write a book. So give us how you came about,
Well,
and when was it published?
it actually was published in 2010.
2010, okay.
But what it inspired me to write it was all of the problems we were having with young people in the schools, and I noticed that they weren't getting any real home training. And there was a woman judge, a black woman judge, that became a judge in Atlanta named Leah Sears. And Leah Sears, when she became a judge, she said that the problem we were having in the criminal system in the prisons was that there were too many men from single mother families, single family homes, single mothers, that were not disciplined. And she said that when she looked at the people that were in the prison, about 80% of them, the black guys, about 80% of them came from those kind of homes. And
homes where it had the single mother, no father in the home.
no father.
All right.
And I thought, and I'm hearing everybody say, the minute we got to put the father back in the home. We got to go back to when we had the father in the home. Well, the father in the black family, it was never a real big thing when the father was in the home because of welfare and other things. And I looked at all of those and I said, well, and I saw guys that were, excuse me for saying this, but I saw guys that were pimping girls.
Yeah, the pimps back in the day.
And the girls were happy to be able to get the money.
To give them.
And they were happy to be able to live in a place and have a house to live in.
Okay, all right.
And I'm saying, well, why has it got to be pimping? Why has it got to be prostitution?
Okay.
Why can't people live together in those kinds of situations with jobs and still have the same effect? Where you have the relationships, but you don't have to go to prostitution to get money. You don't have to go to crime to get money. You have money coming in from people working jobs, even at the level of minimum wage jobs when you got 3 or 4 or 5 incomes coming into a household. Under the Islamic tradition, a man was permitted to have 4 wives. So if
before we get that deep, I just want to, when I say controversial, so in your book, in essence, you are advocating a different alternative lifestyle as it relates to men and women of our community, and that lifestyle being polygamy.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm saying that lifestyle can give them an economy and can have an impact on child rearing that would be very positive in our community. Now, absolutely not for everybody. Even in polygamous societies, you don't have everybody involved in polygamy.
Okay.
But for those who would naturally be involved in it, and we got people right now in Section 8 homes and so forth, where women have babies by the same man. Several women have babies by the same man, live within a half a mile of each other, know who each other are.
Right.
But they are constantly fighting and warring against each other, and everybody's trying to have an independent lifestyle, and they stay broke all the time.
So in essence, you're projecting one of the benefits clearly of a different lifestyle, quote unquote polygamy. It'd be an economic
I see it as a tool for economic salvation for a lot of people that are ending up homeless and in bad poverty positions, and also for child rearing, where you get some discipline back in the home. I know families of 8 and 10 children, and the fathers are drunk, but the kids are disciplined. Because even though the father is not what you would call an upright man, he's still man enough to discipline these kids.
Now within, okay, so two key components that you're advocating as far as polygamy that would benefit the community in the sense are those people who accept that lifestyle. One is economic and the other is child rearing.
Absolutely.
Now, going back, I had interrupted you when you were making mention of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, having a number of wives. Let's go into kind of like the historic relationships around that philosophy, around that lifestyle. And we're going to start with a concept for the sisters of polyandry. How you pronounce it?
Polyandry.
Polyandry. Explain what is polyandry first.
Well, polygamy is a broad term. And within polygamy, you have polyandry, which is where a woman has more than one husband, and polygyny, which is where a man has more than one wife, and then polyamory, which is what's becoming very popular among whites in the United States now, where there's multiple marriages within one household.
Okay. In terms of historic examples for polyandry, let's talk about that on the other side of the break.
Polyandry,
on the other side of the break.
So many people are hurting and hopeless. They feel despondent and in despair. They are living on the streets in conditions that are horrible and not suitable for any human being. And it takes so many loving people to walk alongside them and give them opportunities to change. Zaki Baruti and his show is exposing the people who are making a real difference in our community. And he's been a faithful partner of New Life Evangelistic Center for many years. And I want to invite you to be like Zaki Baruti and make an impact in someone's life today. You can love others well, and you can do it in a meaningful and powerful way. I am so thankful for people who have partnered like Zaki, and I just want to share some of the impacts that you're really making when you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center. You're offering 365 days of care for a woman in need who's fleeing domestic abuse. You're offering not just care, but discipleship and mentorship and training services for her. Not only are you doing that, you're also getting hygiene kits and survival gears into the hand of people who need them, who are living on the streets of St. Louis. Not only that, but you're caring for orphans and widows in India, and you're preaching the gospel in every single one of these places, India, Ukraine, and all throughout mid-Missouri. You're also helping hundreds of people each day in the day center in Springfield. You're making a real impact on the lives of hundreds every single day. And you do that when you partner alongside New Life Evangelistic Center, along with faithful partners like Zaki Baruti. How I thank God for people like you for change.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, the author of The Sky is Changing, Brother Eonje Right, sitting in the chair. And on the other side of the break, we were getting ready to discuss the concept where a woman could be married to more than one man, right?
Yes.
Historic examples of that.
Well,
in societies.
Basically, polyandry has applied in areas where there were an excess of males, where there were many more men than there were women, and the men were fighting each other over the women. That was one big issue where polyandry took place. During the Gaelic period, they was said that 10
Which
men.
period?
The Gaelic
Up in Europe.
period.
That's in Europe, right?
In Europe, right. There were 8 and 10 men that had the same wife. In Tibet, they used polyandry to control
and Tibet,
the land.
for my people, is in Asia. Go ahead.
Yeah, they used polyandry to control the land.
Go ahead.
And where they had didn't have much land, and they didn't want the land divided up into small plots. So the sons, and sometimes even the father, would have the same wife.
Uh-huh.
And they would actually control that land within the family, and they wouldn't split it up so that nobody got little pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody owned that land. And they used polyandry to that effect. There's still a few nations in the world that still have polyandry.
What do you know any other nations that still exist? Some of the sisters listening at the show say, "Well, I'm gonna get ready to move there." You don't know. But
I don't know any of those off the top of my head. I have them. I'd have to look them up.
Okay, then. But you are saying on the record that there are a few nations that allow that to exist.
Right.
Okay, then.
Out of 1,231 nations that have been examined, there's only 186 that are monogamous, and there are about 12 that have polyandry.
Uh-huh.
All the rest of them have polygamy, or they allow polygamy without penalty.
Okay, then. Now, within this country, in terms of, you hear a lot of sisters that may say, "Man, I can't deal with that because,
They think it's a mistreatment of women.
Right.
And in some instances, it is. But it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It's kind of like anything else. In monogamy, when I was growing up, and I think probably when you were growing up, especially in East St. Louis, the men were whipping them women. They were beating them women seriously.
It had some.
And it was not uncommon to see men and women fist fighting. And women were pouring hot grease on men, and the men were, and this was all in monogamy. This was not polygamy at all. Mm-hmm. But monogamy has broken down.
But some of that reaction, if women was hurting men, was in response, quote unquote, that they had stepped outside of their relationship. Would you not say that?
Yeah. Well, the real truth is, when the black man was brought here from Africa, he was not a monogamous man. Absolutely. He was a polygamous man. And when he came here, they had outlawed polygamy in the United States, so they made him a criminal by his very nature, because he was naturally a polygamist, and he taught his sons polygamy, and uncles taught nephews, and older brothers taught younger brothers, and the black male was basically a polygamist in his subconscious mind.
So, in Africa, the point I was going to make, I'm going to have to hold on to it to the next break. To the next segment.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break.
Hello, I'm Larry Rice, Director of New Life Evangelistic Center and NLEC TV, and I come to you now and I ask you just to please pray and consider becoming a partner with us here so that we can continue to keep conversations with Zaki Baruti on the air. It's only because of the faithful support of individuals like you that we can provide this service, along with a multitude of services, to the poor, the fatherless, the widowed, the hurting, and the homeless. Your prayers, your gifts right now are absolutely essential as we confront gentrification in our community of rich and powerful people that want the poor and homeless out of sight and out of mind. We're trying to get 1411 open back up again. We can do that if you will help us. We can provide shelter once again. We're doing it in many other locations, but we need your help now to keep conversations with Zaki on the air and to help those that are hurting and need. And it's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Or you can discover us online by going to nlecstl.org. Thank you for praying, caring, and sharing at this critical hour.
When we contemplate the grace and the love that we see in Jesus Christ and his sacrifice on the cross, we naturally want to generously give to others. We should generously give because we so graciously and generously receive from the love and the power of God to set ourselves free from sin. Remember, Christian, it is so important to generously give as a witness of the gospel that you yourself have received in your own life. It is important to give to churches, not just money, but your time and your resources as well, recognizing what you yourself have received, because all things, all good things that we have come from our Father above. Give generously and joyfully.
Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, and we only have a couple more minutes with Brother Eonje Right, the author of The Sky is Changing. On the other side of the break, I was just getting ready to project as it relates to in Africa today, and when you were saying that many of the Africans practice polygamy.
Yes.
But before, and I was going to ask what countries particularly have you been to in Africa that did practice that? And before I ask that, though, I got another question. In Africa, was there a practice of polyandry in Africa itself?
Not really.
Okay.
Most of it was polygyny in Africa.
Okay, then. Now, have you been to Africa?
I've been to Africa, but really just South Africa.
South Africa. Was there a practice that was legitimate?
They practice it. Yes, they practice it in South Africa.
Okay. For my trip to Africa, which I visited about 10 countries, and Senegal was one of the countries that fully accepted that as a practice. But real quick, if anybody want to get a copy of your book or contact you, say to come and address their organization about the alternative lifestyle that you're projecting, how would they get in contact with you?
They can. I've got a website.
Okay.
It's eonje.net. EONJE.net.
And how would they could call you?
They can call. Now, I don't actually answer the phone because I get so many calls, it would tie my day up. But they can call me and leave a message, and I will get back to them.
Okay, and what would be that number?
The number is 678-300-3591.
Now,
the book is on sale here in the area.
Okay.
At Afro World and at the Love Goddess and at Topaz Bookstore.
Okay, then. So with that said, how has the book been selling since you published it?
Well, I'm just getting it out there, so
Oh.
I don't really have any real returns yet.
Okay.
Because I'm just starting to promote it.
Well, we know it will be as at the top of the backside, sure to be a bestseller. So on that note, we want to again thank you for being with us. And,
It was my pleasure.
And this is just part one of a two-part series. So to the audience, like always, on the political issues, know those issues. Make sure that you vote at every election, as well as join an organization that speaks truth to power and have a track record. We say join the Universal African People's Organization. May God bless each and every one of you. And again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.